When Ethan finally got both kids asleep, the apartment felt too quiet. The kind of quiet that presses on your chest when the day has wrung every drop of strength out of you. He dropped onto the couch, ran a hand through his messy hair, and stared at his phone. His boss, technically his boss's boss's boss, had sent a curt message an hour ago, report received. That was it. No greeting, no signature. Ava Sterling never wasted a second or a word. Ethan exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe it was the fact that Ava Sterling, CEO of Sterling Innovations, had looked at him for 2 whole seconds in the elevator this morning before dismissing him completely. Something about that moment stuck with him. Her cold elegance, her steel gray eyes, the way she held herself like a queen who never allowed a single crack in her armor. He wasn't even thinking when he typed the reply. Glad you liked it, ma'am. If you ever smile at me like that again, I might faint. A joke. A stupid, harmless joke. Something to make himself laugh before crashing into bed. His thumb hovered over send. He shouldn't. He really shouldn't. But then he remembered the grocery bill. The late rent notice. The PTA meeting he'd forgotten. The never-ending grind. And suddenly the idea of making himself laugh, just once, didn't feel like a crime. He hit send. The moment he did, he froze, eyes wide, stomach plunging. He tried to hit unsend, but it was too late. Delivered. Read. Oh God. He buried his face in his hands. Idiot, he muttered. Absolute idiot. His phone dinged. He jerked upright. A message from her. Address. His heart stopped. Address. Why? What was she? Another message popped up. 5 minutes. Ethan stared, his pulse hammering so loudly it drowned out rational thought. She couldn't be serious. She wasn't actually coming here. CEOs didn't show up at employees' doors. Not at night. Not because of one dumb text. He jumped off the couch, looking around in horror. Socks on the floor, a blanket draped over a chair, a half-finished drawing taped to the wall, crayon unicorn, courtesy of his daughter Lily. A laundry basket he never folded. He barely had time to shove the socks under the couch and fling the blanket onto the bed before headlights flashed through the window. A knock followed. He froze by the door, hand on the knob, pulse a frantic drum. Then he opened it. Ava Sterling stood there, perfect, untouchable, wrapped in a sleek black coat, her hair tied back in a sharp twist, her expression unreadable. Her presence filled the doorway like a cold wind. He swallowed. Hi. She stepped inside without waiting for permission. Ethan Hayes. Last I checked. She crossed the room, boots clicking on the cheap floor. She scanned the space with quick, precise glances, kid toys, art supplies, mismatched furniture. Her gaze didn't judge, but it landed on everything. He closed the door and followed her. I'm guessing you saw the text. Yes. She turned to him. Explain. Heat rushed up his neck. It was a joke. A dumb one. I was tired. I wasn't trying to make things weird. Too late. He winced. I know. I'm sorry. Really. Please just forget it. She didn't respond. She simply studied him with that unflinching CEO stare that made grown executives sweat. Standing under it in socks and pajama pants felt like dying slowly. Then she spoke. You're a single parent. He blinked. Yeah. Is that relevant? You work late. You submit reports on time. You never complain. You always look exhausted. Is this an evaluation? It's an observation. He had no idea what to say. She walked further in, stopping at a small shelf where Lily's school photo sat. Ava picked it up, her face softening by half a degree. This is your daughter, Lily. She looks like you. Poor kid, he joked weakly. Ava didn't smile, not even close. She set the photo down carefully. You shouldn't text your CEO at night. I know. Especially not flirtatiously. I really know. She faced him again, her eyes sharp but not cruel. Why did you do it? He inhaled slowly. I guess. No one flirts with me. Not anymore. Sometimes I miss feeling like someone sees me. So I made myself laugh. That's all. Silence stretched between them, oddly thick. Something subtle shifted in her expression. A flicker, quick, nearly invisible, of understanding. Or maybe empathy. He couldn't be sure. Then a soft sound drifted from down the hall. A small voice. Daddy. Ethan's shoulders tensed. 1 second. He hurried to Lily's room. She'd woken up, rubbing her eyes. Daddy. I heard someone. It's okay, honey. Go back to sleep. He tucked the blanket around her. When he returned, Ava was looking toward the hallway, expression unreadable. You're raising them alone, she said quietly. Yeah, that's not easy. That's one way to put it. He expected her to laugh, or roll her eyes, or tell him she didn't care. But instead, she took off her coat and draped it over the back of the couch. I didn't come here to fire you. Relief washed through him. Thank God. But I also didn't come here to be flirted with. Double thank God. Finally, her lip twitched. The tiniest hint of amusement, like a crack in the ice. She walked toward him until they stood only a foot apart. His breath caught. She smelled like clean linen and winter air. Her gaze wasn't cold this time, just impossibly direct. Ethan, she said softly. I don't let people speak to me the way you did. Ever. I'm sorry. I'm not finished. He shut up instantly. She looked at him like she was studying a painting with hidden layers. What you said, it was inappropriate. He nodded. And daring. He blinked. Daring. Most men are terrified of me, she said simply. You aren't. Trust me, I'm terrified right now. Another small shift in her expression, almost a smile. But earlier today, in the elevator, you looked at me like I was human. You were human, he said quietly. That made her pause. She stepped back, pacing once, almost restless. I don't visit employees' homes. I don't make personal conversations. I don't blur lines. Good, he said quickly. Let's keep the lines unblurred. Crisp, sharp, crystal clear. She stopped and turned. You're babbling. Yes, it happens when I'm scared. Are you scared of me? He hesitated. A little. Good. He laughed nervously. Fantastic. Then her gaze softened. Not warm, but something close. You're honest. That's rare. He didn't know what to say, so he said nothing. She walked closer again, slower this time. Your message wasn't appropriate, but it was sincere. I didn't mean anything by it. What if I did? That stunned him. He stared at her, mouth slightly open. I don't understand. You think I don't know how people talk about me? She said. The Ice Queen. The robot. The woman who cares only about numbers. Do you know how many nights I go home and don't hear a single human voice that isn't on a screen? He swallowed. Ava. She looked suddenly fragile beneath all that steel. When I read your message, I felt something. Annoyance. Amusement. Curiosity. It was reckless, but it made me feel. He didn't move. Then she stepped even closer, close enough that he could feel the warmth of her breath. Tell me, Ethan, do you always say what you feel? No, he whispered, but I did tonight, and I came here. I noticed. Not to fire you. Thank you. Not to scold you. Even better. Her eyes held his. I came because I wanted to see what you'd say to me in person. He exhaled slowly. I'd say I'm sorry, and I'd say I didn't expect you to show up here. And I'd say I won't cross any lines again. Her voice dropped. And if I cross them? His heart thudded hard. Then I might faint. He gave her the same words he'd texted, this time softly, sincerely. Ava inhaled sharply. Not offended, not angry. More like surprised. She looked away for a long moment, breathing slow, steady breaths, as if making a decision she didn't normally make. Finally she spoke. Ethan, you have children. A life. Responsibilities. I have a company to run. I'm not good at feelings. I'm not good at people. I'm not asking you to be. She met his eyes again. But I'm curious. And I don't let myself be curious often. He stepped closer, feeling a steadiness he didn't expect. Curious about what? About why your stupid little joke made me get in my car and drive across the city. He chuckled quietly. Maybe because you're human. Her breath hitched. They stood in a fragile quiet until she glanced at the clock. Midnight. I should go, she said. Okay. She didn't move. Then she looked at him with a hesitant vulnerability that made his chest tighten. Ethan, if I come back tomorrow, you can. Even though I'm your CEO, you're still welcome. She nodded slowly. Good night. Good night, Ava. She walked to the door, paused, then looked over her shoulder. Don't send flirty messages again. Never. Unless I ask. He froze. What? But she was already stepping out into the hallway. The door closed softly behind her. Ethan stood there, stunned, heart racing, a slow smile blooming across his face. For the first time in years, something felt possible. Something dangerous. Something unexpected. Something alive. Something that began with one reckless text. And a knock on his door 5 minutes later.